And I hate to, I tend to use black and minority, and it's obviously I feel like I'm well-rounded enough that I'm a nice enough guy to where I could say that because I'm looking at statistics and numbers. And the problem is when people tend to think, oh, you're using black as an example, so you must be a racist, and nothing can be further in truth, because I can tell you right now, I've wrenched on more minorities' cars on the side of the road than probably most of you would have done yourself, just because I am wired like that to help. It would bother me to pass somebody up, whether they're Chinese, white, black, whatever. Maybe I'll pass up a Puerto Rican, but just kidding. I got Puerto Rican friends. So. The thing of it is I don't feel that way, that I'm a racist more than anybody would be to anybody that's different than them. In other words, you tend to gravitate towards people you have stuff in common with, but that's where it begins and ends. It doesn't mean I'm going to make a decision based on something that's not the content of somebody's character. But yeah, I help people all day, no problem. That's just how I'm wired. And one of the ways I like to help people is, you have to look down the road and think, okay, how is this? And I don't even like to say community, because I'm I guess I would be considered more than anything else Dutch. And other than an occasional soccer match, the Dutch community doesn't really have a movement per se, other than they're business minded. They work their ass off, and that's helped them a lot. They're all dairy farmers, and a lot of them, you could tell by looking at them, they had a hard life, but they just because of their set of circumstances, they live a certain way, and they're doing well because of it. Are they were anybody ever against them? I tell you, like when my folks came over, or at least my dad, they didn't speak a word of English. Everything was English, and you couldn't go to the DMV and just turn it over and just scroll down to Dutch. Now you got to go past. It goes from probably Farsi, and then you got your you can go down to Korean, Chinese, and Vietnamese, and Swahili, whatever. It's probably all on the back. And then what happens is you got these little communities that they don't need to speak English, the international business language, because it's all right there. And you're not helping anybody by doing that. It sounds great. Oh yeah, I'm going to help you by putting your language out there. But if you're not afraid, you're not going to want to learn a new language if you're comfortable. So they're all forced to learn English. When my dad was young, when they came over here, he was in Louisiana for a while, and the whole family actually picked cotton. All my dad's brothers and even my aunt, when they were young, they were literally cotton pickers, and they'd pick cotton. That's just what they did, and they didn't get paid for it. The money went to my mom, my grandma, just to help live. And they weren't rich. They lived on a farm. It wasn't their farm. They kind of worked. They were like my grandpa was like a ranch hand, and to a Dutch owner of the farm. So you could sit there and say, oh yeah, they were taken advantage of and blah blah blah. But the bottom line is that was just a stepping stool till my grandpa could do the next thing. And eventually they came over to California. But yeah, in Louisiana, they'd all pick cotton, and then my dad got a job in a theater, and there was still segregation going on at the time. And my dad would sell cigars. He would have to go upstairs where they had the black people on a balcony, and my dad would have to go up to the balcony, and he'd walk and sell cigars. And I talked to him, and it was a pleasurable thing. They're at the theater. They were they wanted a cigar, and he had an exchange with them, and they didn't look at it as, oh, here's this racist white kid. No, it's like at least he provided them with a service, and they enjoyed smoking the cigar. And ironically, the theater's not there because it burnt down. Shocking, smoking a cigar in a theater. But it's just, all this stuff happened, and you could look at it however you want. Of course, things are very, very bad for certain groups, and in certain times they're worse than others. But the bottom line is, things have happened, but you have to say, okay, they happened. Let's move on to go to that next level. And if you're not going to do that, all you're going to do is look and say, okay, well, that person looks like the person that was responsible for my ancestors' problems. Well, now you're no different than the racist, the white racist that's saying that person looks like X, Y, or Z, and they do ill will. I mean, wasn't it Martin Luther King? Judge me by my character, not the color of my skin, and that goes both ways. And I wish people could take that message and think about what it's really about. And love doesn't keep score. You can't say, oh, well, we're down X amount of notches. The point is, wherever you're at, that's where we're at. Nothing's going to change that. Nobody's going to give up power unless you try to take it, like I said, like a civil war. But ultimately, we're still, man, it took us a lot of years to recover from that. And I think that the only way to really get by that is for smart people to raise kids in a manner that says, hey, we are here. It doesn't matter how we got here. Sure, we can look at it as a historical thing, but don't use how we got here as, okay, now we need to get vengeance and or reparations or whatever it is, and then we're going to be where we need to be. No, because nobody has ever succeeded like that. Nobody's ever gotten out of poverty by handouts from a government or even government programs. The only way people have succeeded is when you have a family that cares about the kids, and the kids ultimately do better than the parents. And all the parents do is prop them up. And you can't prop them up by saying, look at those people are bad, they're going to keep you down. Because no, you prop your kids up by making them uncomfortable, so they want to get out of the uncomfortable situation they're in. And that's by working their ass off, sending them to school, lecturing them, hey, if you don't do well in school, you're ... If you don't work hard, you're ... And then eventually the kids get tired of hearing ... Or they just want to impress their parents. And guess what? Those kids will move on. And then, like I just told my daughter the other day, when she was done cleaning her room, I'm having a hard time getting her to clean her room. She was finally done, and I think I paid her or something. And I go, it feels good, huh? She's like, yeah. I go, just remember this feeling for the next time you don't want to clean your room. Remember how it feels when you're done. And for these parents, like, if you ever bought a house, you have that satisfaction of buying a house. Don't take that satisfaction away and give your kids money to buy a house. And at the same token, don't take your kids' ability to work hard and be satisfied with what they're doing and getting paid by saying, okay, you need to get money from the government as your primary source of income. No, because ultimately you want them to do a good job, because like the old saying, happiness is a job well done. All right, guys.